Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mitchell's Memories, Part 28. To continue my story, Monica and I are now happily married, living in London. We rented a house in the section called Walthamstow, and Monica is a dental hygienist, so she had full-time work. What was I going to do to keep busy and to earn some money? I didn't really know anyone in London. I had no family, no friends. So one day I was wandering around and I wandered into the Jewish Museum of London in Camden Town, and I noticed that the visitor services workers there were volunteers. So I thought, well, I can become a volunteer also. So I volunteered at the Jewish Museum, and really I got to make friends with my colleagues, and I met people from all over, not only English people, but from all over the world came into the museum, and I loved talking to people, and it was very fulfilling. And after 3 months, I went to an agency, employment agency, and said, "Look, now I'm experienced in museums. Can you get me a job?" And they did. They got me a job in short stints in a couple of London museums. And finally, about 8 or 9 months, I was at the Titanic exhibition in the O2 Arena. And I really love that because I'm a big history buff, and I love the story of the Titanic and how it relates to life. So I love talking to people, to visitors, about the Titanic, and I really enjoyed that one. Then afterwards, the agency got me a job at the British Museum, a temporary job, and I stayed there for 18 months. And again, really, really enjoyed it, made a lot of friends there, loved talking to the people from all over the world. And it was, and I'm earning some money, contributing to the family. But in the meantime, I was still volunteering when I could at the Jewish Museum of London. Something I really liked about volunteering. Then I met a school teacher who was teaching a class of English to immigrants in Leighton, and she asked me if I would assist her. So I became a volunteer assistant teacher. And then about that stage of my life, I was having a lot of knee problems, and I needed knee replacements on both knees. But I was very impressed at Whipps Cross Hospital before the surgery. There was a clinic, and a volunteer who had the knee replacement gave us a talk about everything about we need to expect, and I was very, very impressed with that. And I thought, well, when I'm finished with all this, I'm going to become a volunteer. And so I did. I volunteered after my surgery, an amazing recovery. I volunteered helping doing clinics, inspiring people who are going to have knee surgeries, visiting them in the wards after the surgery, encouraging them, being involved in the support group. So I was both working at the British Museum and doing this volunteer work at the same time. And then because of my teaching, I was enjoying that. I took a course course that enabled me to teach English to foreigners here in London. And I went to an agency and I got a job, and I worked there for 3 or 4 years, going to schools all over London and teaching. And again, it was a very, very good experience. But teaching is also strenuous, and you have to do a lot of planning. And I found myself, after a while, I thought about it, that I was enjoying myself much more doing my volunteer work than I was actually doing my paid job. And I thought about something about volunteer work that gave me a deep sense of satisfaction, a deep sense of meaning in my life. It was very, very fulfilling. Somehow when I just volunteered and gave of myself, I just felt I was going beyond myself, beyond my ego, going to a place I would call love. In other words, when I'm just purely just helping people, and from my heart, I felt some warmth of love. So then I spoke to Monica about that, and basically I said I'd really like to do full-time volunteering and charity work. And she agreed with me. She supported my decision wholeheartedly. And so I left my teaching, and I just became 5-day work volunteering. I was very, very fortunate. I met a wonderful woman named Allison Gordon, the local coordinator for charity and volunteering here in Chingford. We moved to Chingford 5 years ago, and Allison helped set me up so I became a walking leader. She helped me. I joined a volunteer group called Green Gym. We did conservation and beautification of parks all over Chingford. I got a volunteer job at a local South Chingford library, volunteering at the local food bank, going to various tea and chats, talking to isolated seniors. And before I know it, then I expanded my work at Whipps Cross Hospital, and I had three different jobs. And one of my favorite was teaching relaxation to cancer patients, to chemotherapy patients. And I felt that very, very rewarding. And I was working 5 days a week, and then I was working more and harder than when I was just doing for paid work, and loving it very, very much. Particularly, I remember Wednesdays was sometimes a very, very strenuous day for me. For 3 hours in the morning, I worked at the Green Gym that are doing really hard physical labor for 3 hours, beautifying the parks here, like Ridgeway Park and Mansfield Park here in Chingford. And I worked real hard. It was really more like the work for a youngster, but I worked hard in California, so I knew how to work hard, and it was great satisfaction. Then afterwards, I would come home, wash up, change my clothes, grab an avocado, a glass of water, and I'm off to Whipps Cross University Hospital. 2 buses to get there. I teach my relaxation class, come home, it's already evening, but my dear Monica is gonna come home from work soon, and she deserves a healthy, delicious, hot meal. So then I cook delicious food. And very often that evening, I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm sitting on the sofa, falling asleep. But even though I was so tired, there was such a warm feeling in my heart from doing all these kind actions and doing all this volunteering. And speaking of Wednesdays, one time after doing my conservation work, after doing my hospital, I'm coming home. I took one bus to Walthamstow Central. Then I got on the 97 bus to go to Chingford to come home. Then all of a sudden, the woman sitting in front of me, she just asks me help, and she shows me an envelope, and I see the situation, a letter, that she's an Italian woman. She doesn't speak a word of English, and she's trying to find her daughter lives in London, and she has instructions how to get there. The daughter lives by a bus stop on the 212 bus, but unfortunately, she's on the 97 bus. So even though I was so busy and tired, right away I just said, I just imagined, what about if I was in Italy and I was lost and I didn't speak Italian? Wouldn't I want someone to help me? So the same thing. So we got off at the next bus stop. We walked. I took her to the 212 bus. I put her on the bus. I spoke to the driver twice. I told him exactly the stop she needs to get off. Please, she's not going to ring the bell. Please help her get her off there. Bus driver promised, and I came home. Yes, and I came home and I felt love in my heart. If there's one thing that I've learned, 70 years of life experience and 50 years of practicing yoga and meditation, is to see myself in others and to see others in myself. That everything in this world is a manifestation of the divine. There's divinity in me, and it's in you, and it's in the mountains, and it's in the trees, and it's in the animals, and it's in the fish, and it's in the birds. Divine is the same as one. There is oneness. There is unity, and that unity is what I call love. Love has no beginning and no end. Love is everywhere, in everything, always. Love can't be destroyed by bullets and bombs. Love can't be burnt by fire. Love can't be drowned by water. Love is the most powerful healing force there is. I open myself up to love and being loved. This is my life's mission. This is what I'll do until my last breath. Thank you, everyone. Good evening.